My name is Jasmine Jones, and I am a licensed clinical social worker. And you are now watching Black Girls, a Therapist in the Wild. And this little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing Abbott Elementary Season 4, Episode 17. And we are sipping on absinthe and strawberry guava juice. I had to bring the juice with me because, this shit tastes like battery acid. I don't understand how people drink alcohol. So I need to I made it too strong. Yep. Some kind of guava. Yes. How you doing? I make so many sound effects. I don't know why I do that. But I think I got it from my uncle. I grew up with old black people. They always, like, when they sat down, they would make a noise. Like, They got up, they would make a noise. When they opened a jar, they would make a noise. I don't know. Because I've been doing that since I was a kid. So I probably got it from the old black people I grew up with. But anyway, so we're on episode 17, karaoke. They are at a karaoke bar. So this is like a lovers episode. Lovers of others, lovers of yourself, things like that. And so I'll leave Ava and Shamar Mar towards the end because I just feel like I felt a read was there and I didn't like how I was read. No, I would say that's past me. I'm not that mean. I'm not that mean anymore. And the niggas that I was mean to deserved it. They weren't young Shamar Mar here. They weren't him. They were actually assholes, and that's why we're mean, because I didn't think I have come across a nigga that, I was mean to that didn't deserve it. Horrible. So anyways, they're all like planning to go to this karaoke bar. I guess Barbara or Melissa, one of them won some type of raffle, whatever the fuck, and got a free karaoke bar night. And so all the coworkers are going to karaoke and whatever the fuck. And first they had like this little gathering and the little start off before the actual episode starts. I forgot what them things is called. Whatever, nigga. Oh God. Oh. I thought I put more juice in here than I did. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have a good sleep tonight. Hopefully I don't hallucinate. Anyways, they had a little a potluck where Janine had a little personality potluck and everyone's just kind of tolerating her quirkiness. And so they had to bring food that represented their personality. And so Mr. Johnson brought these little creme brulee, whatever, such and such mountain of donuts or whatever, French pastries and stuff. And he told them that he learned this from Cordon Bleu. I wonder how much of what he says is the truth and how much of what he says is a lie, because he could be a compulsive liar. He could. You have to think of these old black people that you just be telling tales of tales, and you just really be looking at them like, it's like that movie Big Fish. Did his dad really go through it was a good movie, even though, Tim Burton doesn't like black people. I don't care, okay? I'm still angry about Miss Peregrine's and him saying that he only uses black people when he needs them, like we're furniture. Look it up. He said that. But it was a good movie. Horrible people can make good art too, because they can hyper focus too. That's how they that's how they cope with their pain too, is they hyper focus on art. So that's why there's a lot of horrible artists out there. It's like the movie Big Fish, and the dad was telling all these tall tales, and you wonder, and then it makes me think, how many of these old motherfuckers telling these tales are compulsive liars? No, you don't need to have a reason to be a compulsive liar. You could be traumatized. You could just it's like Munchausen. You could just like the attention that you get when you lie. It could be an anxious reaction that you just do whenever you feel, triggered or some shit. You don't need to have necessarily a specific reason to be a compulsive liar. There's various different reasons why you can be diagnosed like that. So I'm just curious. So all these people that be telling these tall tales, are they compulsive liars? Are they just like telling stories? Because you say that you're in the story, right? So if you're in the story, and you're trying to make it sound like it's real, but you know it's a lie, then and you do it all the time and you like the attention that you get when you do it, like pathological liar. There it is, not compulsive. Pathological, because it's compulsive is like you have this compulsion to lie. Pathological is like I'm doing this for a reason to get specific things, this manipulation and shit. And so I wonder if he's a pathological liar. You know, and there's nothing wrong. Like you don't have to be a horrible person to be a pathological liar. Like I'm saying, look at all these old people out here telling these tall tales, tale of the tales, and it's entertaining and it's fun and it's interesting. But like it's still pathological. You still want something out of it, and you do it all the time. And he probably just likes telling stories, girl. Shut up. You thinking? See. You thinking too much. You thinking too hard again. You do. Okay. So anyways, he said he went to Cordon Bleu and then he told the camera people, oh, I ain't going to fucking Cordon Bleu. I don't fucking. I would just enjoy the stories. Like, old people be having interesting stories, whether they're true or not. Like, you lived an interesting life. Like, you lived during, like, segregation and shit, nigga. Like, what was that like? I so regret never asking my grandmother what was it like to be in the Great Migration. Like, she was born in 1920. She died in 2014. She was almost 100 years old. What was it like in Texas in the South? Why did y'all leave? Just so many questions that I can't ask now. I'll ask when I'm dead. God bless it. She'll be there. I'll ask when I'm dead. No, because life still goes on. It does. It keeps going on and on. Many lives. But anyway, so they all plan to go to this karaoke bar. Gregory has to work, though. So he has to do Uber that night because there's a surge and stuff in the pricing. And so he plans to do Uber for a few hours, and he's going to meet Janine and the rest of them at the karaoke bar, right? And so Janine is feeling this type of way because it's getting later and later. So just because it hurts our feelings doesn't mean that we don't understand why you have to do it. It's a duality of emotions. Like, niggas be like a toxic nigga would have been like, see, man, you just frowning up because, no, she just made you feel guilty because you feel bad too. Don't put that shit on her and be like, oh, you just frowning up. And you just, I need this money. And because a toxic nigga would have did that. But no, like, she understood that he had to work. She understood that their surge pricing, and it was enough to pay his rent off for the month if he kept picking up rides, without struggling too much, basically. And so she was just like, no, just keep going. But you could hear the sadness in her voice. You can hear the sadness because he misses her too. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to keep picking up people. You wanted to be at the karaoke with her. And to be able to see that both of them miss each other and both of them are willing to sacrifice for each other without like being mean to each other about it, but actually understanding even though it still hurts. And then for him to like decide to choose her over being greedy and making more money than he actually needed in the moment. Yes, it would have been nice. When you ain't got that much money, there's never too much money. But like sometimes you just gotta like, fuck it, I want to be with my girl and shit, nigga. Like, this is some bullshit. Like, I got enough money to pay my rent. Is it gonna be a little tight this month after the rent? Yeah, probably, but it'll be fine. Like, sometimes you just sacrifice for the people that you love. Now, do you do it all the time? No. But like those little moments where you put something aside for somebody you care about, that's amazing. Like, it's like how Gregory sacrificed for Janine and ended up with like ringworm and shit. Like, he didn't want to end up with ringworm, but he just said, you know what? I want to spend time with you too. And so I'm going to sacrifice getting ringworm. And you know how Janine accommodates all his little quirks, like how she logged down every little thing. But she might also have some neurodivergencies and shit. Neurodivergencies are not just attributed to ADHD and autism. Neurodivergencies is just how you trained yourself to move through the world based on like the shit that you've experienced in the world. And now it's changed how you comprehend social things and stuff like that, and how you process things in the world. Like, if I was abused as a kid, right, and like the way that I overcame that abuse was to be as quiet as possible. So you could become like a selective mute. That's a neurodivergency, but it's caused from anxiety. Like I'll be as quiet as possible so the abuser doesn't come near me or whatever. You could literally become a selective mute, and it's a psychological thing, and you literally can't talk. And people that are autistic can't talk, but it's two different reasons and it's two different things. And eventually, like, selective mute can be taught to talk, and some autistic folks can be taught to talk at some point. But like, they're both neurodivergencies, because now you have to navigate the world with your own silence and interact with other people with your own silence and learn how to do that. So it's relearning how to interact with the world via some shit that's going on inside of you and in your brain and stuff like that. And so, like, she probably got some shit because she's anxious and traumatized and shit. And so I wouldn't be surprised. She loves writing that log down. She probably likes writing, organizing things. She's probably, keeps things in certain orders and shit, whatever. But I think it's just anxiety and shit, and she accommodates that. She accommodates his quirky food situation, even though she loves to eat and she'll eat anything and try anything, and she accommodates the fact that he doesn't. But for me personally, like I said in that video where they were at the golf course, like, I don't need you to eat what I just need you to sit there and enjoy my aura. Like, if we go to a nice 5-star restaurant and all you get is some shit off the kids menu, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna get this steak here, and I'm gonna get these lamb chops, and I'm gonna get this salad, and I'm gonna sit here and eat all of this to myself, and you sit there and eat your little cheeseburger with no sauce or lettuce or tomatoes, just bread and cheese. You sit there and eat that. That's an Angus patty. That's an Angus beef. Like, that's expensive meat, so it's still good. So, it's like how they move through these things that would be problems and issues for other people, but they're able to just be like, okay, well, I'm gonna sacrifice because I do want to be with my partner. I do want to be hanging out with my partner and the coworkers and having a good time. And I will sacrifice the fact that he don't like to eat certain foods and stuff like that, and only go to certain spots and shit like that. But, like, I thought that was beautiful. He decided to go back to the karaoke and just hang out with her and the coworkers and have a good time, and it's magical. I embrace myself for this. Oh, disgusting. So disgusting. Oh, God. I don't understand. Like, when it gets to the back of your throat and you taste the bitterness, like, does no one else taste it? Like, are you just getting drunker and drunker till no matter how, even in college, no matter how drunk I got, I still tasted the bitter. Like, I was at work today, and I had this orange that I got from some lady at church, and she had, like, church people be bringing fruits and shit from their trees at their houses and just be laying it out on the table for people to get at the Bible study or whatever. And so I thought it was an orange. I peeled that shit, and as soon as I smelled that grapefruit, I was just like, oh shit. But I hadn't eaten nothing, so I was like, let me at least eat 2 slices. The more I ate, the more it tasted like bleach, and I only ate like about 3 slices and threw the whole thing in the garbage. I was like, how do people... And the fucked up thing is, when I was a kid, my mom loved grapefruit. She loved eating it all the time, and I would just be looking at her like, you don't taste the bleach? Like... No, because at first, when I eat a grapefruit, it's like sweet in the front, right? And it's bitter in the back. But the more I eat it, the more the bitterness starts to travel to the front of my tongue. And then the next thing I know, my whole mouth tastes like what I assume ammonia would taste like. And I just can't. That's even like drinks. If I taste even a slight hint of grapefruit in my fucking drink, I will throw that whole bitch away. I'm flipping tables. Like, why would you put bleach in my drink? Why would you? Some people like it. How do you eat grapefruit and not taste like bleach too? Tell me that. Somebody tell me how you eat grapefruit and don't taste the bleach. You know what? See, that's whatever. Anyways. Oh, I got on that. Oh, because I took a sip. So anyways, I thought that was beautiful. And so then we got Jacob, and Jacob is trolling around the damn karaoke bar looking all sad. And I figured Jacob out. I figured out why I don't like him. He doesn't have any character development. Like, he does, but he doesn't. His character development is fucking annoying. Like, he's a gay white man whose only interest is in other people, gossiping, people pleasing, hating himself, being clingy and miserable. No, no. What is his hobbies outside of work except for hanging out with Janine and Gregory? Who are his other friends outside of work except for hanging out with Janine and Gregory? Like, this nigga could literally go to the LGBTQ center and join a men's group if he wanted to, but he doesn't. Like, I have clients that go to the local, LGBTQ center in my area, and they do the men's groups and the women's groups and the trans groups and the group. They got free groups there that you can make friends and everything. And I'm just like, what is he outside of school? Outside of, that's why they was talking to him like, who, like, no, nigga, like, who are you outside of, like, everything else? And I felt that song, though. I was just like, I was loving that when he sang that fucking song. I felt that in my spirit. And I was like, this is a sad man, and he's miserable. And now we need an arc of him learning how to be an individual and learning how to love himself. Not go like, I don't even want to see him in a relationship. Like, it would be cool to see him, like, whatever. Do what you want to do. But like, I just want to see him develop his character. Like, can he make a friend outside of work? Can he do activities outside of work? Okay, he like, no, we know what Barbara grows on cruises and shit. Like, she's pirate Barbara and shit when she's in the ocean. Like, Melissa got like this whole like mob gangster family and shit, and she be over here like doing little petty crimes and shit. We know who Melissa is. She got hobbies, and like she's fucking on the fire chief and shit. Like, Gregory, he made friends with whatchamacallit, but he had other friends. Don't do that. There was a shit when they was at that bar and she had her hair straight and had on that little white dress or whatever. He wasn't just over there with the nigga that she ended up dating for a little bit. He had multiple niggas that he was with in that group at that bar. Okay, he has friends. I don't know why they decide. Maybe all. Girl. What if all his friends stopped being his friends because he hurt his one friend's feelings? Girl, that would be fucked. I mean, it wouldn't be, because he kind of did. Like, that was shiesty. You should have just said you liked her from jump instead of letting your friend get with her. Like, you should have just, like, did your friendship not matter? Like, either, like, what's going on? Like, you should have just been like, yeah, I kind of like her, but it's, like, kind of messy, so I just, do with that with what you will. And then he could at least had a heads up. He could have thought about it. He could have been like, this is kind of messy. I don't want to be involved in this. I mean, she cute and all, but like, whatever, nigga. So what if they all abandoned him and just said, no, fuck you, that was trifling, and nigga, this was your friend? Like, I don't know, but they making it seem like he ain't got no fucking friends except for Jacob and Shamarmar, and I just feel like he has more friends than that. Because no, the basketball game was Shamarmar's idea. Like, he wasn't already playing basketball in the morning. Oh my gosh. But no, like, he had friends outside of school at some point. Like, everybody doing something, maybe, no, but even Janine, she be doing stuff outside of school. She be doing stuff. I just forgot what she be doing. She got an Erica. That's a friend outside of school. I mean, it's one of the parents. No, it was one of the parents, like sisters or some shit, something like that. But she got shit. What, Jacob ain't got shit outside of the school. That's the point. Okay, the point is that Jacob ain't got shit outside of that school. And helping other people and being nosy and being gossipy, and there's no likable character development. He's just like, like I said, when the show first started, I think he's supposed to be like the token white guy, because there's always a token black person that is basically Jacob's character, only without anxiety. They gave him a little deeper depth. They gave him anxiety and people pleasing and a self-dislike, so we can see more into why he does that. But if it was like an all-white show and it was just like this one black teacher, he would just be the black teacher that helps people all the time and doesn't like have a personality and shit. So they did give him a personality, but the personality is fucking annoying, and I'm glad they're figuring out ways to like expand and fix it. Because he needs more of a character development. He does. Like, that's just fucking annoying. Like, stop being a little bitch. Like, your ex is there and you're mad because, like, oh, he's doing so many things with his life. Nigga, he has the same play he had when y'all broke up. And he just met a nigga that he sings with. Like, go get you a nigga then. Like, what Go find you an art hobby to do. Like, I don't understand doing so much. What it see you overthinking that too. It's overthinking. We're overthinking. But, he decides, so Gregory shows up and is singing a song with Janine, and so Jacob decides to go talk to the dude that was out in the lobby, out in the little lobby eatery area of the karaoke bar. Mm-hmm. Ugh, disgusting. And like gives a little spiel, little hookup spiel, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like let's get it on." And they started talking, exchanged numbers and everything, and it was a vibe. And I was like, "Thank you for giving him something." Something to potentially expand his personality past I hate myself and I'm a people pleaser and I'm taking up space with all my emotions instead of just having a fucking personality like everybody else. No, because I just feel like everyone has issues, but the whole character isn't that issue. With Jacob, the whole character is I don't like myself. Every time he comes on the screen, it's cringy. It's just like nigga, like he's either gossiping or like people pleasing or like trying to see if people like him or feeling bad because he thinks people don't like him. Ew, or doing some weird ass microaggressive thing. It's like, does he have personality outside of that? Does he like to read? Gregory likes the garden. Like we got characters with like hobbies and shit. His hobby is to be fucking sad and miserable and annoying and shit. No, like he's not a horrible person. Like just because you're sad and miserable and shit, but it's like it starts to get annoying when that's all you're interacting with when you're interacting with the person. They can be sad, but like have other personality traits. Like I get sad sometimes, but that's not my whole fucking personality. Like there's other things going on, and maybe he has like they need therapists. Like he has when it's that bad to where like it's your whole fucking personality and shit. Like that means you've gotten to a level where you need a therapist as soon as possible. Like you need somebody to come and talk to you about whatever it is that you think is wrong with you so that you can have more of a personality is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's why I should, and maybe a little bit of it was I saw my younger self in that nigga because I used to be a little bit like that in my 20s and shit, and ew. Ew, that's how I look. Ew. That's how annoying I was. Ew, God, I was so miserable and sad and just mopey all the time and like people pleasy and gross. And then sometimes I'll just be mean for no reason just cause. Ew, I needed that past self, and she's still in there. We're still the same person, but like we've gone to school, we've grown, we've evolved, we passed some tests, and now things are better. But just to see it and realize how the motherfuckers was looking at me like I look at Jacob, and that shit is fucking gross. And it's like there's no self-awareness when you're in it. There's no self-awareness. Like you literally don't realize how you are impacting other people. Like that's why I always say mental health is a selfish thing, because you don't realize that everything you do is impacting other people in a certain way. Like you just think that, and then sometimes it's not impacting people, but now you're making shit about you when all that person did was glance over at you, like because they were looking around the room. Now you're making shit about you because you think somebody's looking at you. Like, and nobody was even thinking about nobody looking at you. Nobody was actually looking at you. Like, it was just, they were glancing around the room, but you had to make it about you and be fucking weird and shit. Like, it's shit like that. Like, it's just so all-encompassing that you feel like you're covered in this force field of pain. And, like, you can't see the force field, but you keep wondering why people are bouncing off of you every time you come around, or why people are like taking advantage of you every time you interact with them and shit, and you're just like, oh, it must be me, I must deserve this, I'm a horrible person, instead of like stepping out of the force field and really looking at the people and being like, oh no, you're a horrible person for taking advantage of me in a vulnerable moment. Oh no, I probably was a little bit too clingy in that situation, and that's why that person slowly backed away from me and looked at me like I was crazy. Okay, and then you start doing things to work on that shit. Like, go to therapy. Like, oh God. Jacob screams, I need therapy. I need help. I'm sad and miserable. I mean, like, they all got their issues, but that nigga could be crashing the fuck out. And I just be like, somebody give him a hug or some shit. That ain't gonna be he needs a therapist. When is the counselor coming? Like, you be having episodes like this where the shit is like glaring and shit, and you just be like, so he's gonna let him walk around like this and put this on some new person that he's decided to ask the number for? Okay. Let's see, there's more episodes to come. So I'm glad he was able to like stand his ground. I mean, he did talk to his ex. This nigga is smug as fuck. Like, I don't remember why they broke up. I just don't like the smug energy. Like, I don't have to be smug. I just have to live my life. And negative people are going to feel bad about it. And positive people are going to want to talk to me about it. And we're going to have a conversation about it. And about my life and the amazing things that I do. And it won't feel like weird or nothing and shit. Like, I don't have to be smug. I don't have to hold nothing over nobody. Now, if you force my hand, I do pull rank. Because I've done that shit before. And I really caution myself on doing that. Because people can't help the place that they are in life at the moment. And that's none of my business to be making them feel a type of way. But if you keep fucking with me, and you keep fucking with me, and you keep fucking with me, I told you, I don't roast motherfuckers because I'm not witty like that. I'll just be like, see, that's why you work at McDonald's and I have a master's degree and make like such and such amount each year and shit. Like, didn't you say you couldn't pay your rent last month? Right. That's the benefit of just sitting quietly and observing people's conversations and not saying shit, because you intake information. So if they ever try to say some shit to you or come at you in some weird ass way, I'm gonna set a boundary. I'm gonna ask you, can you please stop? I'm gonna do it 3 times because it's good to have a good amount of times so they can remember that you told them 3 times. Can you please not? I don't really want. I'm not the funny bitch like that. Like, stop. Okay, you know what? See, didn't you say you couldn't pay your rent last month? I'm about to go traveling and shit, nigga. Like, you about to be homeless. See, I don't want people to push me there, because even saying that felt evil. But it's just like, don't push me, because I'm not a witty bitch. I'm gonna say some mean shit and have motherfuckers looking at me like, and at the point that they are looking at me, and after I have said something like that, I'm not gonna give a fuck that you're looking at me like I'm crazy. I'll just be like, you heard me tell this motherfucker 3 times to leave me alone, right? To stop talking shit, right? Everyone around me heard me say, could you please stop 3 times, right? Right. So I don't know why you looking at me. You need to get your boy. Get your boy. See? People think I'm nice and quiet. I was at yoga the other day. Some woman, because I was like, they were saying there was a class or something on Monday or some shit. And I was like, oh yeah, I go to like a Bible study on Monday because I can't go to church on Sunday or whatever. This woman gonna be like, oh, you're such a sweetheart, and you're so, and I just was looking at her like, ooh, girl. She was like, you're such a sweetheart, you're such a good girl. That's what she said. I was just like, oh, fuck. I just walked out. I was like, oh, and walked the fuck out, because I knew I was getting upset. And I was like, man, she probably didn't mean. I had to talk to myself in my head, like, oh, she probably didn't mean. She was probably being nice, and she thought that was nice. And you don't assume shit about people, but she probably thought that was nice. Such a good girl. And I'm just like, girl, okay. Keep thinking that. Keep thinking that, because I'm in a relaxed state, and so I seem like goofy and, wobbly and all over the place, because that's how I am when I'm in a relaxed state, But yeah. Good girl. Oh, that's so cute. Oh my gosh. She had no idea how absolutely insane I am. Ooh, that's so magical. Look at it. Is that how I come off when I'm like relaxed? Wow. Yeah, good girl. It's like you just can't assume about people and stuff, So, anyways, let's get on to Ava and Shamar Mar. So, anyways, Ava goes on her date with Shamar, and I'm just, oh God, she was so mean, and I felt it in my spirit because I've been that mean. But it's literally with niggas that are mean. Like, I didn't do that with niggas that were nice. I was a little more reserved when niggas are nice. But I wasn't just straight up like roasting them through the whole dinner and making them feel like shit and making them have these sad ass facial expressions. Every time he asked her a question about herself, she would just have a zinger right back at him. And I was just like, girl, you gotta be vulnerable a little bit. You gotta open up a little bit. Tell them something. That's why you pick some shallow shit to tell these niggas and shit. You ain't gotta go all extra deep. Like, but at the end of the day, she kind of did, because it's like, you gotta explain yourself, girl. You can't just let this nigga walk off thinking that. And that's what I told you. I think this whole money thing is like a safety thing. Like, and this nigga sat there and kept buying her shit even though she was roasting him. Now, I feel like there's a little people pleaser, but he could just be a nice guy because he set his boundaries and he said she hurt his feelings. So he could just be a nice guy, didn't want to just leave her there with her side of the bill and not pay for shit. Because he was about to leave her there and just be like, well, this is the end of this. And so maybe he's not a people pleaser. Maybe he's just a nice guy. Is that how nice guys act? I don't know. See, I'm trying to find a reason still. I was like, why is he so nice? He's a people pleaser. Obviously. But then he left, though. So do people pleasers leave? No, they just keep trying. But anyway, so he was paying for everything. And then this nigga spoke Japanese. And my girlhood was all a tremble. And then Ava tried to act like her girlhood was not all a tremble, too. And I was like, bitch, you're lying. This nigga looked over at that motherfucker and he was saying something in Japanese. And I was like, this nigga speaks Japanese. Immediately, I was like, let's go to Japan. He's going to be speaking Japanese to people. He's going to be talking to them in their language. While I sit there and look pretty and cute. And, oh, look at him speaking in his language. It was magical that nigga knew one sentence in Japanese. I don't know if he's fluent, but he knew one sentence and it sounded like legit. And so, you know what? And this bitch gonna sit up here and roast him. You must be Rosetta Stone, bitch. Well, I can't be mad because I was there. It's just, we as women have been hurt by these. They're killing us. Like, they're literally, and you can't tell the difference. This is not an excuse. This is to explain where she's coming from, because he did the right thing. Like, if you still stuck in your shit and your trauma and shit, nigga, like, just like I say with a nigga, like, I ain't dealing with that. Like, I came in here nice and cordial and having a conversation and you was roasting me at every motherfucking turn. I don't got time for that. I'm just explaining why she is that way. So, daddy abandoned her for some waitress bitch at a restaurant, probably was barely in her life after that, or maybe she just didn't want to see him, period, after that. Maybe he tried. I don't know. We don't have the full story, so I'm not going to completely be like, he just abandoned them and never tried to see her. I'm going to say that because they didn't say that. It could have been the other way. It could have been she was old enough to be like, I don't want to see your ass. So it could have been that. But he left the family for some other bitch, and that's hurtful. So that was her first viewing of what a romantic relationship is. Most of our first viewings of what a romantic relationship is seeing our parents together, or seeing our parents separate, or whatever. And it did not leave a good mark. So this fear, this heightened sense of, I need to be safe in the world, and the only way I can be safe in the world is to have these transactional relationships that involve money, because money's not going to hurt me unless I don't have it. And so you project that shit onto like an inanimate object and shit, and she projected it onto money. And so if she's involved with a nigga, then a nigga need to have some money so she can feel safe. She don't want nothing else out that motherfucker but some good dick, some nice dinners, some nice trips, and some money. So it was hard for her to conceptualize a nigga actually wanting to get to know her, wanting to be around her, because this has been her pattern since for however long. This is a transactional thing with niggas, because if I get too close, They gonna do me like my daddy and just disappear on me for some waitress bitch at the Chinese restaurant and shit. That's how we just like niggas hang on to that 13-year-old bitch that broke their heart in 8th grade, and now they 65 and hate black women because of that one black bitch in 13, and she broke my heart. She was 13, love. You were children. I don't. Why would you put so much weight on a 13-year-old to so much weight, so much expectations for a 13-year-old to show up for you when a 13-year-old barely even knows anything about life or relationships yet? So much weight on yourself as a 13-year-old child, like why are you putting so much weight on yourself and on this little girl and on black women as a whole, and you're 65? Like, I don't understand what. So it's the same thing, only this is with a grown-up that caused her severe trauma, and so she projecting that onto niggas. And niggas are just this transactional experience. They're nothing more than that. So him asking her about herself, she don't know what that is. Why are you asking me about? Just buy me shit. Like, you worship me. Like, at least when you leave, I know that I had some money and some good dinners and some good trips. Like, what else do I need? Like, I don't understand. I was never that bad though. Like, I literally want love. Like, I've always wanted love, and I've always wanted niggas to show up for me and shit like that. And I've always wanted money too, on top of that. All of it. I want the multiverse, and I deserve to have it because I am the multiverse, and I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. But, there was reservation. Not being able to form full sentences because of anxiety. And then being a bitch because I don't trust this nice whatever the fuck. And then it turning out to be, yeah, that was right. That was right to not trust it. See? Now I am more open and talk like the nigga was talking about his favorite roller coasters and shit. That would have been fun. I would have been like, I can't go on roller coasters because like my body is old, and when I go on a roller coaster, my equilibrium gets thrown off, and then I end up vomiting and being dizzy. And that's why I go to Disneyland. Disneyland doesn't have that many roller coasters, so most of the rides are like them little car rides that you ride around like the little museums with the mannequins and shit. It's magical. Like, I would be talking this shit like that would be fun. But the thing is, most niggas don't walk up to me and have random, normal conversations with me. They don't. And, so it is what it is. And so, like, this was just eye-opening. It was glaring. And something else that I noticed, too, was that nowadays, you don't have to be mean or fucked up or weird to weed them out. You can drop a dud, just like in the other video I was talking about, where I saw the TikTok video and the lady was just like, pick something that's kind of medium, mid, like shallow, a little deep, but not too deep. And then just drop it, something that's not going to hurt your feelings, and then see if he brings it up later to try and hurt your feelings. Because that makes it so it's a choice. You're choosing to hurt my feelings. Or just talk about some social justice shit. I matched with somebody on Bumble the other day, and he had has an intro question. On Bumble how they had like the intro question, so they don't have to actually start a conversation with you. So he had this intro question: what is a book that everyone should read? I said Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Joy DeGruy. I was unmatched within 2 hours. Oh, that's all it took? I don't have to be mean to these niggas. I don't have to do nothing. Social justice-y shit. Drop a dud. And then that's all. If he had picked up that motherfucking ball and started bouncing it back to me and shit, we could have started talking about, nigga, he could have been the one. He could have been unmatched immediately. He unmatched me immediately. And I was just like, this is literally all it takes. All it takes. Like, literally, like, I think I was having another conversation with a nigga off of Bumble, and I was just like, we was going through like shit we liked, what are my interests and shit like that. And I just said, I was like, social justice stuff, like, trans rights, LGBTQ rights, Black Lives Matter, like human rights and kindness and empathy towards others. He wrote back, oh, no conversation, no. Oh. Like, oh, she's one of them bitches. I know I am. Yes, I care about people in the world having rights and being able to live freely and loving themselves and, just having people around them that love them and, being able to move freely in the world and not have their passports taken away from them like we're in Nazi Germany. And babies not being murdered and burned to crisp in other countries because they're human beings and they still matter. Oh, she's one of them bitches. That's all it takes. That's literally all it takes. I wasn't going ham in the paint. If he wanted to pick the ball up and had a conversation about the shit, I would have been like, okay, this is cool. Like we on the same, we vibing. But no, that's all it takes. Just care about the world. Drop a dud or care about the world. These niggas will dip on you real quick, and that's how you know that they're not for you. Or at least if you're an actual person that cares about the world, or if you just don't want your feelings hurt by somebody that you told something that could potentially hurt your feelings, and then they rubbed it in your face and tried to make you feel bad about it, and then you ghost them. So, like, that's what I learned. Like, you don't have to be mean. You don't have to be weird. You can just treat these niggas like the regular human beings that they are. They get emotions. They have emotions. They get emotional. That's what all that anger and wanting to kill us and, shit is. All that yelling on the podcast. That's their emotionalness. But, it's being siphoned through anger. So they're probably like, they don't like them. Y'all should watch this show on Netflix called Adolescence. It's so much explained how much these niggas do not like themselves. This little boy, and he kills this little girl in middle school. He like stabs her to death over in the UK, so they have knives instead of guns and shit over there. So he stabs her to death, right? And they catch it on the CCTV because in other countries there's cameras everywhere on every fucking block and shit. So you're hard pressed to commit a crime in the streets anyways, in some other country if they got CCTV on every fucking corner. So they caught the whole thing, and like he got this therapist that is on his legal team, and she's just like trying to understand like why he did what he did and see if he's competent for trial and all this other shit. And then, like, she decides that she's going to end the therapy with him, and that'll be the last session. And then he starts crashing out, like, oh, no, you said that, don't leave it. Then he's like, I have one question. Do you like me? Do you like me? Like, the little boy thought he was ugly. The little boy thought that nobody liked him because he was watching that incel shit online. That basically was telling these little boys that women don't like them because they think that they're ugly, so you have to catch women in a weak point, emotionally weak point, and then manipulate them into being with you by being mean to them and shit. And so he was watching some shit like that, and so he truly believed that he was ugly. He truly believed that women didn't like him, girls didn't like him, and that he had to catch this girl at her weak point. And I should have said spoiler alert. I mean, like. And like, then she'll like him, but she didn't like him, and she was calling him an incel, low key, and he stabbed her to death. And so, like, yeah, that's where they all is, their inner child hating themselves. And then it really illustrated the boy's dad. The boy's dad has these random ass angry outbursts where he will destroy property every few months. Something will trigger him, he'll go off, he'll destroy property and shit. But he doesn't hit his wife or his kids because his dad hit him and he never wanted to hit his kid. But you're destroying property and screaming at everybody. So your child learned not to self-regulate in a healthy way, because it's not about the emotion, it's about learning how to manage it in a healthy way, like taking deep breaths, crying, talking to somebody, writing it down, healthy shit, going to therapy. And that's what it developed into, some murderous type situation. And so it really illustrates the epigenetics, the nature, the nurture passed down through the family members, and then the real self-hatred that is within the inner childs of a lot of these men out here. And that's why they be crashing out. And that and as soon as I see that behavior, knowing these things about you helps me to humanize you so you are a human, because I've crashed out before. I just haven't crashed out and tried to manipulate or hurt people. I've crashed out and been clingy and crying and needy and weird, but it's all from the same space. Like, I always use the example of Jeffrey Dahmer, right? He was a horrible, evil person. Probably had genetic sociopathy. But the trauma of not having his parents around and him being in a house all for a whole year with his dad gone and his mom not wanting him in his life, abandonment trauma triggered that genetic sociopathy, and he started killing people. But the reason he was killing people, that he always said, was that he wanted to make them into mannequins. That's why he was giving them lobotomies and shit, like trying to put them in a coma or some weird shit. He wanted to make them into mannequins so they would never leave him. That's why he would keep the body parts and do all this. Because in his mind, he logicalized that there was some way, somehow, he could one day mannequify one of these motherfuckers and they would never, ever leave him because he had abandonment issues. So it's all on the same spectrum. He's just on a very far off in the desert extreme end of the spectrum with Ted Bundy and the rest of them. But how many of us have done some fucked up shit because we were lonely or we didn't want somebody? How many of you bitches pulled up on a nigga at their house? I've never done that because I can't do embarrassing things out in public. Like, I can't be seen. I don't want people looking at me. Like, I will do it in private. Like, I've got on my knees and wrapped my arms around a nigga and tried to keep him in the house. Right. So how many of y'all done scratched the car, popped the tire? It's the same spectrum. It's abandonment. Like, don't leave me. I don't want to be abandoned. I don't, la, 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 la. It's extreme abandonment issues. These things can be triggered even slightly by, like, the slightest thing. So there's this thing called rejection sensitive dysphoria. And basically what that is your abandonment issues are so extreme and so intense that any little thing can trigger you to think that this person is in some way abandoning you, whether it's emotionally, physically, or whatever. So, like, it's like when we're in a conversation with somebody, especially a lot of black women have this, and you when you see black women crash out at their friends or family members and things like that, a lot of times it's because their abandonment issue was triggered and they assumed there was a meaning to this situation that revolved around their abandonment that had nothing to do with anyone trying to abandon them. Like, the video I saw about it, this woman was talking about how, like, she was at this dinner and they were eating seafood, and it was her and her homegirls, and she had never ate seafood before, and so she was eating a lobster and she was chewing a lobster and she was like, lobster's chewy, and her friend goes, girl, you ain't never had lobster before? Just like that, just like, girl, okay, shit. But the lady took it as an insult. Like, her friend was insulting her, abandoning her emotionally, and trying to put her down and tell her that she was poor because she ain't never had lobster before. All of this made up shit in her head when this girl was just like, girl, you ain't never had lobster before? Yeah, it's kind of chewy and shit, like she was just talking. Like, she wasn't trying. But when you have rejection sensitive dysphoria, any little thing, like, that's why you got black women when they get stared at by other people and they pop off. Some of that comes from racism, but that's also trauma because you're rejected by society. That's abandonment. You're rejected by society. So being stared at, because white people be doing it, they be just staring at you and shit. So when anyone else do it, you scared to fight the white people, but the black people is like, I ain't probably not gonna go to jail for this, so I'm gonna beat her ass. You gotta hold it in around the white people though, because it's like, oh, they're gonna send me to prison for socking this 60-year-old woman in her fucking face for following me around the store. Let me leave the store. And so, like, a lot of black people have this rejection sensitive dysphoria to where you just expect any little tone of voice, any little piece of body language, any glance to being that someone is rejecting you, someone is abandoning you. And then we crash out. And so that's why a lot of us need therapy, and a lot of black women are going to therapy, but also black men, because this is a black channel, and so we're talking about black people, but we're all human, so it applies, but we're talking about black people. Black men, like how they will shoot you because you said no to them. A lot of black men, experience rejection in some form or another, probably from their dads too, and some from their moms. Some black women get traumatized and they shouldn't be having fucking kids because they see all the men that have hurt them and their sons. And then they abuse them. You shouldn't have had kids then, bitch. That's a baby. That's a child. He didn't do nothing to you. Um, that's what I mean. We're not giving them excuses to behave like this. We're explaining the behavior so you can clock it. And when you can clock it, you don't internalize it and it doesn't spread. The cancer doesn't spread to someone else. And now you're questioning yourself and you're traumatized. No, I clock it. And I'm like, oh, you got some shit going on. And then I note it. And then I move the fuck on. Like, get out of the conversation as soon as possible because I don't have time for whatever the fuck shit you got going on. I don't, because obviously you're not helping yourself enough to not pop off in public or do whatever you about to do in public, and I don't have it for you, love. I don't, because I went to therapy and I don't. But no, it's rejection sensitive dysphoria, and it sucks. I don't necessarily think I had that. I don't know. No, I'll say I had it when I cared about people. When I don't give a fuck about you, I don't give a fuck what you got to say to me. I don't give a fuck if you talking behind my back. I don't care if you say the shit to my face. Like, I'm just going to walk away from you. And it may seem like a bitch move, but I don't want to fight you for what? Because you made up some shit in your head and now you made yourself mad at me when I haven't done anything to you. Like, you keep that shit over there. Like, I'm not going to involve myself in some shit that you made up in your head. But if I care about you though, like, this is why it's hard for me to date, because once I start caring, I become a whole simp, a bitch. I just be like, why don't you love me? Like, why are you being so mean to me? I'll become a whole Janine. Like, you sure you don't want? No, I'm worse than Janine. I told his ass to come to the karaoke. There's work still needed here. But it's not as bad as it used to be. So I'm worthy of love. I probably would have sucked it back and been like, oh, I understand. No, because if it's something I want you to be at with me, like, and do with me, then yeah, like, I still like my alone time, though. Like, I don't like niggas all up under me when I'm trying to have my alone time. Like, you need to have hobbies. Like, Jacob, like, I could see him being too needy and clingy with his ex. Like, nigga, you don't got friends, you don't got hobbies. This nigga sings and like does plays and writes shit. Like, what do you do for fun outside of like, because I like to go to the movies by myself. I like to travel occasionally by myself. I like to read books somewhere by myself, do photography randomly by myself. Do I always need to be by myself? No, there's a balance I'm talking about. Don't be extreme. But there are moments where I need that, and I need you to have hobbies and shit, nigga. Like, you ain't got friends? Like, I'm not the bitch that's gonna be like, oh, why you hang out with your boys again? Like, no, go hang out with your friends. You have friends, right? As long as you give me equal time, like, and I am assured that you're not cheating on me, then I don't give a fuck. Go hang out with your fucking friends. Like, go do some shit with them. Like, don't y'all do some shit? So, no, but like, if you give me a reason to not trust you, it's going to be a fight to get that trust back. It is. And I'm going to crash out every little thing you say to me. Like, what you mean you hang out with your friends? You was hanging out with your friends when you kiss that bitch on the mouth and shit, I don't trust you. But then that's why I would just leave. I would just leave if a nigga did some cheating shit because I can't manage it. I'm not going to be able to be the bitch that can just be like, oh, I still love you. People make mistakes and we can get past. No. I'm always going to remember that your dick is dirty. That it's not sacred anymore. It's been in some other bitch's vaginas or whatever the fuck you put it at. It's not sacred. You're not sacred to me. You're disgusting. You're gross. Ew. So I wouldn't even entertain some shit like that. No, it's just maybe it's my neurodivergency. Like, some switch turns off and then you're disgusting. Like, if I am assured that you are cheating on me, you're disgusting. I don't get away from me. And you should feel that. I would expect a nigga to feel that way about me too. Like, like it would hurt my feelings. Like, but like I would expect a dude to feel that way about me too. Like if I did that too, but I wouldn't, cause I don't want a bunch of random niggas touching me. I just need one. I just need, like in the last video I said like men have smells and skin textures and their mouths taste different. They don't be bathing properly, and some don't even wash between their ass because they think it's gay or some weird shit. So I just need one that I know exfoliates and moisturizes and keeps himself clean and is a good person with money. Okay, I'm not leaving that part out. I'm not leaving that. Oh, you need is a good person. Yeah, a good person with money. No, you see the hellhole this world is going into. The only way out is through money. So I got a little bit of money. You got a lot of bit of money, and we put our little and a lot together and make even more money. I don't understand what the problem is. Built that bunker underneath your mansion because you gonna have a mansion. I don't need a mansion. I'm gonna wait till God sends me my husband that has a mansion. It's horrible. And we're good. We're copacetic. It's magical. God's gonna do what He's gonna do because my God moves mountains. So I am assured I'm gonna have a rich husband and he's gonna take care of me, and I'm not gonna have to do anything but the shit that I'm already doing, and I won't have to be stressed out by money or bills ever again, or white supremacy ever. And then I'm gonna spread it around and help other people figure out how to get there too, because it's just, that's the next level. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. I don't care what you're talking about. But anyway, so I get where Ava's coming from, but girl, that's a good man, Savannah. And if you can't pretend, like, I understand how hard it is to believe in the kindness, because you start to get feelings for the kindness because your nervous system is telling you, finally, it's him. He's the one. And then you got to be like, bitch, shut up, bitch. So this is inner fight, this inner turmoil. Like you want to believe it, but then your nervous system is like, I don't know. And then your other part of your nervous system is like, he's the one. You want to crash out. And you're like, no. So it's like you got to keep yourself in check and just pretend, fake it. That's what I be telling clients. So they be like, how do I he's so nice to me. Like I don't want to fuck this up, and I keep thinking he's crazy or whatever. He's gonna kill me because he's so nice, and I just fake it till he shows you that he's trash. And if he never shows you that he's trash, then eventually the faking will turn into realness. No, it will. That's what that experiment where they had people put a pencil in their mouth and smile. With the pencil in their mouth, and then I think they had them look at sad things or some shit, and they said that they the people with the pencil in their mouth were happier or some shit because they were faking the smile, some shit like that. I'll find it and post it. But no, you gotta pretend because your nervous system is gonna go one way, and it's gonna want to knee jerk into doing some fuck shit and ruining and self sabotaging the situation. And so, in order to not do that, you have to pretend that this is real. You have to pretend that you can stay present and believe that everything that is in the present is real, and all that shit that your nervous system is trying to bang on your brain with from the past, that's the past. That's not real anymore because it's in the past. And it's really hard to do. That's why I always suggest being communicative, especially if you feel like you're about to crash out, like she did at the end when she realized, usually I don't suggest telling all your traumas on your first date. You don't know this nigga. He's a stranger. I don't care if he comes to school occasionally and you text sometimes. You don't know him like that. But you got to explain yourself, girl. She had to explain herself because she realized she fucked up when he set that boundary. And look at him setting a boundary. You go, Shamar Mar. Yes. I don't care. That's Shamar Mar. I don't care if his name is Oshan. Who picked that name? That's an interesting name. His name is Shamar Mar. Stupid ass. And so, I commend him for paying for everything still because he's a decent human being. We're gonna leave it at that because he was about to end shit. People please don't end shit and they stand there and beg. But he was able to be like, you know what, I don't think this date went well. You were making fun of me the whole time. And she was just, but that's our thing. That's what we do back in. No, bitch. No. Just like he said, you're supposed to build rapport off of that, but you ain't even telling him anything about yourself. Every time he asks a question about you, you like you start crashing out in your brain, and then something mean comes out, and that's not. He over here speaking Japanese for you and shit, bitch. Like he can speak Japanese while you fucking and say some wild shit and. Shut up, bitch. So like I commend him for setting that boundary and letting her know. And then you saw it in her eyes. She knew she fucked up. Like, oh, that is a good man, Savannah. It is. It is. It is a good, at least good enough to set boundaries and let you know that that's not okay. And so they get outside, and basically she tells him like what happened with her dad. And then he just looks so like, oh my gosh, you've been like severely traumatized and shit, and that's why you were acting like that. That's why I was kind of on the fence. Is he a people pleaser? Because like, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he just has empathy for her plight in life. We're gonna leave it at that. I ain't seen enough Shamar Mar to be like, oh, he's a people pleaser. No, we're not gonna go there because I think he can have empathy and care and still want to hang out with her and understand her. And I'm gonna go with it. I'm just fake it till you make it, y'all. We're gonna go with it because I want someone to have empathy and care when I'm crashing out, and still see the real me underneath. Like, oh. We all want that because as black women, we've been so traumatized, and we just want these black men to see it and understand it. Like Gregory sees Janine when she starts spiraling into her anxious, but Gregory be crashed out too. He be having his little neurodivergent, like autistic meltdowns and shit, and like she be taking care of him. So like they see it in each other and they take care of each other. So I feel like, Shamar Mar sees that in Ava, and he wants to take care of her if she'll allow it. But I feel like if she keep talking shit, though, that opportunity is gonna go away. The opportunity to be taken care of and supported by a decent nigga that makes decent money is gonna go away, love. So get your shit together. When is the therapist coming to this? Because I'm gonna assume that they're gonna have all these teachers see this therapist, and it's just gonna be like revealing, so revealing. Because you got folks crashing out, and then like we can learn to get through things from our friends and from our loved ones and shit, but there are things like EMDR and brain spotting and, understanding the timeline of your trauma and why this shit still affects you in the present, that the regular person who hasn't studied this shit and done this work isn't going to be able to manage. And also, it's putting a lot of weight on your friends and your coworker and maybe even potential partner, because they're not going to be able to fully do what a therapist can help you do. They're not going to be able to help you along with these coping skills or even suggest proper coping skills that you'll stick with. And then they can also potentially become a crutch to your healing, and where you rely on this person for healing so much that if you don't have them, you crash out and burn. Like, I feel like, I don't think Janine and Gregory are going to break up, but I feel like if they did, because they don't have therapy, like they would both crash out. Like it would just be like they rely on, I don't think it's an enmeshment or codependency, but I think that they've helped each other heal so much in certain areas, but it's still a clingy, needy vibe, because Janine is anxious and Gregory, well, he has his fixation person. That if they were to break up, I don't even think they'd be able to work in the same school together. I don't think they will break up. I'm not putting that evil out in the air. God bless Ashe. We're not going to put, no, because I'd crash out. I'd stop watching this fucking show. I don't care what you're talking about. I waited 12 years in Azkaban. I don't care what you talk. They made Snape black in the HBO show, and I am so for it. And I hope they put a trans person in this fucking show. And if we only get one season of it, I'm watch that bitch over and over and over and over and over again. And I want that bitch that wrote that book to crash the fuck out because there's black people and trans people and people playing parts that only white people were playing and shit like that. And I hope she fucking, her brain just rots in her head. I doubt they're gonna do that because she still owns the rights to Harry Potter. So if somebody is black in it, she's not racist. I would, I don't know. Like it's all on the same spectrum. You hate a certain group of people. It's not too far of a hop, skip, and a jump to hate a certain color of people. So she hasn't said anything against black people, but I just hate that she wrote. No, it's not the same. It's not the same feeling. People be putting up these book lists of like, oh, here's some other Harry Potter like books and series that you can read that's not Harry Potter. It's not gonna give me the same feeling that I felt as that little 11-year-old girl in the library when I picked that fucking book up for the first time and started reading it. It's not the same feeling. So I will hate this bitch till kingdom come for ruining that for me and taking that away from me and not and making it so I can't enjoy that feeling anymore every time I would rewatch Harry Potter. Like now I'm made to feel like a bad person when that feeling was such a good feeling and now I'm made to be a bad person. Cause I just want to recapture that feeling sometimes, and I can't. I cannot. It's so far away. Cause I had a child's brain and everything, and so it's different. It's different. I can reread. I can read some stuff as an adult, but I have the jaded brain of an adult that's been traumatized all through my life. That was a child's brain, innocent and pure. Finding out something in the world for the first time and experiencing magic. And I don't care if it was like, basic witchcraft wizardry and she probably got parts of her story from other things and whatever the fuck it was. I felt it in my spirit when I picked that book up and started reading it while I was in the library because my mom used to drop me off at the library and I would be there just for hours reading books and then she would come pick me up and I would do that during the summertime or on the weekends and shit. And I remember being in the library one day when she had dropped me off and seeing, what is this? Harry Potter. And picking it up and being like, this looks interesting. And I started reading that shit and I was hooked immediately. As soon as I read the first book, I was like, where's the second one? And then I read the second one and then and it all the way through into my 20s. And this evil bitch. Oh, God. That's why you don't pedestalize famous people because they're just human beings. And you get your feelings hurt when you realize that they can be just as evil as any other human being. And so I just look at every human being as a human fucking being. Now it's interesting to see a famous person. You get that that the nervous system jolt because you've seen them so much on TV. That starstruck thing that you experience when you meet a famous person. You've seen them so much on television that something in your nervous system feels like you know this person, but logically you don't, and then those two things clash, and then you don't know what, like you have to recalibrate. And I've done that because I live in Southern California. I've seen famous people, like, it is what it is. They be at the grocery store and shit. It is what it is. Not like it's not like, oh, every time I go to the grocery, like throughout my 38 years, I will occasionally run into somebody that has been in some shit once or twice every few years. So don't, because you live in California, you see famous people every fucking, no, bitch. No, you don't. No, you don't. Even when you go up into where the famous, like in the Hollywood Hills and shit, you don't even be seeing people. They be in their house. They be in their houses, or not even in their houses, trapped. You don't see them people like that. But I've seen enough to like handle that starstruck feeling and then just start looking at them like people. Now, if I've heard you done some evil shit in the world and shit, I'm gonna look at you like a fucking monster. Like there's a monster in my vicinity. Like if P Diddy was in a room and shit, I'd get out of the room. That's an energy. That's the devil. But like for the most part, it's just people. So it's like it's not that big of a deal. So like, I don't know, man. She destroyed my fucking childhood. I will hate her forever. White people. That's why you don't pedestalize them. That's why you don't pedestalize them. Because I shouldn't feel this much animosity towards a stranger, but I do. But every fucking few months she come on Twitter, with some bullshit to say about these trans folks, and I just be like, girl, who hurt you? Why are you this is less than 1% of the world that have this transness, and they don't bother you. They ain't bothering nobody. They just trying to be their full self, and what their brain says they are, they trying to be that on the outside. And you sitting up here bothering people, trying to make them feel like it's wrong to just be themselves. Like, intersex exists. So obviously there is a mutation that can happen on the outside of your body. Why can't there be a mutation in the brain on the inside that, you know, says that you are not the gender that you were born to be, because your brain is actually the other gender and shit? Why can't that be real? Why you gotta be a fucking hoe? I'm tired. Who you got in the Harry Potter? Oh, cause they gonna make a black snake. Good for them. Good for them making a black snake. Will I watch the? Yes, I'm not gonna lie. I don't care. Yes, I'm gonna watch it. You shouldn't watch it. But I'm gonna watch it. Cause that little thing, that little inner child in me is just so excited to see them stories fleshed out into a whole series. So excited. Ashamed, yet excited. And I can't shut her up. Like, she won't shut up. She won't. She's not going to shut up. So I'm just going to acknowledge that it's probably wrong. But I'm going to watch it. I am. Don't pedestalize famous people. It's fucking weird. Because they're going to just turn out to be regular human beings. And you're going to hate it. You're going to hate it. And that's why you got these people with cognitive dissonance. Don't want to believe that Chris Brown beats bitches and shit. And he's been beating bitches ever since Brianna. Don't want to believe that R. Kelly had like a sex dungeon with a bunch of little kids in it and shit. You know, don't want to believe that Michael Jackson's a pedophile, even though like a bunch of kids came out and said he touched them and shit. Don't want to believe it. And you keep that shit over there. You don't have to believe it. Okay? But I believe it. And I know these things happen because I believe children, and I believe victims, and I believe patterns of behavior. And if there's multiple victims, most likely that motherfucker did it. Care. And so, you know, how do we get here from Abbott Elementary? I don't know, but this was a good episode, and Ava needs to calm down and enjoy the luxury of having a decent man show her attention and not treat her like shit and not have some transactional ass relationship. Was it with a wealthy man? No, girl, you ain't with a wealthy nigga, but like, he still paid that bill. Oh Lord, Mark, you said everything you order was gonna be market price. He looked shocked and appalled, but he still paid that bill. So calm down and don't siphon all the money out of this man, because he's not as well off as the other niggas that you have been transactional with, and that's not fair. If you choose to date somebody that is basically on the same level as you financially, you can't expect them to do wealthy nigga shit, okay? You probably not gonna sit in first class on your trips, but you gonna go on a trip. No, nigga, you know how much first class costs? I wish I could sit in first. No, I just want to sit in business class because that's cheaper. I try to put business class on my ticket for my trips and shit. The whole trip went from like when I would like try to like plan trips and shit. The whole trip went from like $2,500 for 2 weeks, car room, to about $5,500. That's for business class. When I tried to do first class, girl, That shit went up to $10,000. $10,000 for just to put my feet up. I was just like, I'm just gonna get these here compression socks and sit on this here plane and try my best to get through these 13 hours. Try my best to get through these 13 hours because economy is only 2,500 for 2 weeks, the flight and the hotel and the car. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna one day though. One day. So you're probably not going to be in first class with this. You probably not gonna be in. But who wants to be in a private jet? Them little planes are the planes that are crashing. Them little planes have always been dangerous. That's how Aaliyah died. That's why I'm not ever getting in a helicopter. No, because that's how Kobe Bryant died. I don't care what you. I'm not getting no fucking helicopter, bitch. Like, I don't want to go on a helicopter date. I don't want to go on a trip where you have to take a helicopter from the airport to another island just to enjoy the trip. I'm not getting in a fucking helicopter. I'm not getting on them little Cessnas. Them planes are the ones that crash the most, okay? Oh, God. But, she need to accept that he's just who he is. He drives a Subaru. I had lesbian clients before, and like they was telling me how them Subarus are like really sturdy and shit, and they last a long time. And I don't want one, but she made fun of his car, and I felt it though. I was like, oh, but that's okay though, because if he's cheap, rich people are cheap. Like, I remember when Payless used to be around, and black folks, the secret was to go to Paylesses in rich neighborhoods because they had nicer shoes and the prices were basically the same. And so basically, like, gas is even cheaper in rich neighborhoods because rich people are cheap. That's how they say rich. I just need you to pay all the bills. You can be cheap. Make sure you pay all the bills, though. I'll figure the rest out, like, and I want gifts. Like, I want gifts to get, like dinners and gifts and trips and shit. Like, no, because I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh, you just pay all the bills. I'll pay, I'll buy my own stuff. No, nigga, like, no. I want gifts, and I want to be showered with love and affection and all the things that I would give to a nigga. Like, because I'm never, ever going to be the only one ever again. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. So, like, I get her wanting a wealthy nigga, but like her money and his money together probably gonna make them wealthy at some point. They both hustlers. And so I don't see what the big deal is. Like, match me. That's the bare minimum, is match me. If you can match me, then we good. If you can't match me, nah, nigga, like you making like 60 a year. What am I supposed to fuck? I'm the breadwinner. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a leader in my personal life. I don't care. I be a leader every fucking day trying to lead these fucking clients, and there's nothing wrong with that. And, they doing most of the work anyways, coming and doing the coping skills and shit anyways. But, like, I don't feel like doing that in my personal life. I don't have any want or need to do any type of leading. Like, this shit here is for fun. If y'all get some advice off of this and it helps you, that's great. That's wonderful, because I enjoy this. This is fun. But, like, a nigga wanted me to pay for and make more, and they already sensitive enough. You got these niggas driving their whole families off of cliffs because they got in debt for $10,000. Like, if we exit out the money issue, then that's less likely for you to crash out on me and be all emotional and shit, like. But no, like, she with a nigga that matches her probably makes even a little bit more, because them tech niggas be making decent money and shit, probably make even a little bit more than her. But he's not a wealthy nigga. You gotta chill the fuck out. Like, this isn't going to be a transactional dating experience. Like, he actually wants to get to know you. He likes you. He looked like he was about to fall his jaw was about to fall on the floor when you told him the trauma that you experienced. He was just like, I was like, oh, look at him. He cares. Like, that was was genuine. Like, he's a good actor. I believed it. I was like, oh, look at him. He's not like taking that in and, plotting on how to use that against her and manipulate her with it. Like, he genuinely, like, is appalled at the fact that she went through that and stuff. But he knows her. He knows that she's not going to take. I don't think it would have been pity on his part. I think it would have just been empathy and care, but she would have saw it as pity. So that's why he was just like, well, he laughed. He said a joke. He said a joke, and he was like, well, I don't even like such and such food anyway. I know you don't love. So you got to know the audience that you're dealing with. She would not have accepted, like, are you okay? Oh, my God. Like, she would have cussed him the fuck out. She's not there yet. She's sensitive. And see, he even let her do a little joke about his car, a little jokey joke. But, like, this is a nigga that's going to set boundaries and call her out on shit. So I love it. I love that for her. He's not going to allow her to make him feel bad about himself. He's going to say, and that's all she needed. She needed somebody that was going to call her out. Make her aware of how she's interacting with the world and how she's affecting people, because I don't think she's aware of it. I don't think she's aware that she hurts people's feelings and shit sometimes. Like, I don't think it's that she doesn't care, because as soon as he told her, like, she looked like appalled and like, oh, I didn't know. Yeah, she joked it off and was like, cause you sensitive, but like, no, like, I think she cares about people. She just puts up this wall because she doesn't trust people because her fuck ass dad. See how men just, like, I always tell folks, if you're around an angry woman, a toxic woman, even as far as an abusive woman, look into their matriarchal line, their matriarchal lineage. I promise you there was a man somewhere that caused the women in this family to veer off into toxicity. It didn't start with women. That's what I'm saying. It didn't start with women. It started with some man in their matriarchal line hurting some matriarch in their family. And then that matriarch just started hurting their next generations. And then it just kept going on and on and on. That's why she got issues with her mama and her grandmother and shit like that. So I'm excited to see where it goes. It's exciting. And, Jacob found him a little, like, date situation. I just want Jacob to be by himself and, like, learn how to like himself and stuff like that, without the caveat of having someone there in a romantic relationship to, like, go along with helping him like himself. Not yet. Like, I just feel like he's too emotional and he just really, really does not like himself, and it's in a very unhealthy way. To the point where that's his whole personality, and that's, gets annoying sometimes. He's not a bad person. It's just, I could see him being very clingy and needy if he was in a relationship right now, because he's sensitive and emotional and he's been through stuff and he needs to go get therapy. They all need therapy. When is the therapist coming? Why should it be like next season? Why should it be like next season as the therapist comes on the show? Because, like I said, if it's going with real life and how school districts move in real life, they're not going to get the accommodations they ask for until the following school year. Because that's how school districts are. They don't give a fuck. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this show, this episode of Therapist Tips and Reviews. I did not finish that toxic ass fucking drink. It was nasty. But it's absinthe, so it's like enough to, like, get you a little tipsy and shit. So it's okay. But let me know what you thought about this review. And, what else did I say? I don't remember. I asked some questions earlier. If you have answers to them questions, let me know. Later days.